So many times, we atheists have been given questions, or more accurately, Christians have been giving to their flock questions they claim we can't answer. And then, of course, we answer them. I think the real question is, why do they persist? Especially since they're just asking the same questions over and over and over again. If there's no God, why is there life? Without God, what stops you from murdering people? Without God, who would build the roads? Oh, sorry. Got a bit confused on that last one. Never mind. I mean, do you really think you're gonna stump us? Are there truly any unanswerable questions? No. These questions are a hook, designed to get people to click and have their religion reinforced. They love watching them show the atheists what for. I don't know how many of their viewers even realize there are atheists answering them. But if you're truly going to be honest and sincere, and not just another lying religious whack job, you should stop and think. How do you really know this question is unanswerable? I mean, first off, do a search, because like I said, a lot of these have been asked and answered before, ad nauseum. The second thing to ponder is, are you just doing another God of the Gaps? Questions like, what was before the Big Bang? You'll basically say that we don't know, so you get to slip your God into that gap of ignorance. It doesn't work that way. Instead, if you look into the question itself, you'll find many more dimensions to it than you just assumed there would be. Such as, does the question even make sense? The Big Bang was the start of time, so how can there even be something before time? You'll run into not only that very question, but a common comparison to explain why the question doesn't make any sense. What's north of the North Pole? Another thing to ponder, does your question have any explanatory power? Because if your answer is just God did it, then there's just no reason to take the question seriously. You could slip it in as the answer to any question, whatever possible observation we could make, and whatever possible question we could ask about it, you could slip in the answer, because God did it that way. Example, if we're all special creations of God, why did God arrange all these species throughout time and in the fossil record, and even record it into the genes of every plant and animal that exists, in exactly the way it would look if we were all the product of common descent? Answer, because God just did it that way. It's not a real answer. It has no explanatory power. You can't use it to make testable predictions. It tells you nothing. Something that could explain anything, in reality, explains nothing. And even worse, if you have that non-answer that feels like an answer to drop in anywhere you need to, such as the question of what sort of cause the Big Bang might have had, if indeed it had one at all, if you just throw in the God answer, all you're really doing is removing yourself from the set of people who might one day figure out the answer. And if you can convince others of that, you remove them too. You might think you're asking this profound, unanswerable question, but in reality, you're impeding the progress of all mankind. I'm sorry, but your religion is not deep or profound. It gives simplistic non-answers to questions we're finding to be more and more complex. The depth and nuance of the questions we wrestle with are far beyond your kindergarten musings. And yet, you pretend you're asking these unanswerable questions and crowing about how atheists are so stupid for not understanding them. Take a good look at yourself from the outside and consider how arrogant and smarmy you come across. Understand how moronic you sound when you ask, if we came from apes, why are there still apes? And then consider how pathetic your attempts are to answer challenges like the problem of evil. I haven't seen a single response to this that tackled the logical contradiction as actually given. In fact, they all seem to boil down to, the solution is Jesus. Another non-answer. When we give you our answers to these questions, we're not doing it to embarrass you. Well, actually we are, but that's a means to an end. We do it because we want to shake you into realizing how stuck you are. Once these questions have been answered, the solution is not to just ask them again and arrogantly proclaim that atheists have no answer. We're doing this because we want you to further the conversation. We hate that you people are stuck like this. You need to accept our answers and respond with answers of your own. And I mean, answer with something other than sound bites. Oh, you're just doing it because you hate God and want to sin. No. Think about it and come up with a proper response. And then we can respond to that, and the conversation can continue from there. And if you can't, maybe you need to start thinking that maybe you've been wrong this whole time.